From the time my brother died, and knowing what I knew then, knowing what we were conditioned and programmed to do when a person dies, and turning away from that and finding true peace and happiness and joy again in life, and hearing that people were dying and feeling the things that I felt. Sometimes I would have to hide. When somebody tells me a story about their loved one dying, I did not know how to say to them, to start telling them that, you know what, they don't, they're not really, they're not really dead. Like, listen, they're not dead. Like, the body has died, but the body has stopped functioning, but they're not dead. Sometimes I would, and depending on where a person was, they would receive the news and they would be so happy. They'd be so encouraged. Some would call me afterwards and thank me so much because they felt things, or they saw things, or they dreamt and they discarded it, they disregarded it. And now when I speak to them, they'd be like, you know what, I've been, there's a lady who told me that she was told not to be so sad about her son's passing, that she needs to get over it. It's ungodly to continue being sad beyond a certain period. Anyway, from the time Timothy died up until Mark died, I had gone on this spiritual journey that was beautiful on another level. I developed a connection to God that was just fantastic. To the angels, I had angels around me all the time. I saw angel numbers. I communicated with them before I did things, and the serendipity in my life was just so amazing. People came into my life that helped me along my journey and walked with me, and every day was growth. Every single day was growth and beautiful. People would call me. A lady called me from the US and said, "Hi, Jerry. I've been led by the Spirit." She's such a deep, beautiful, beautiful Christian. Beautiful, beautiful. Her name is Olivia. Beautiful heart, beautiful soul, just everything. She has like a beautiful energy around her. She calls me one day. I'd never spoken to her. Like, we worked together, but I never ever spoke to her, especially when she left the country. But she called me that day and said, "I've been led by the Spirit to connect you to some ladies, friends of mine in the UK." I was like, if it's a spirit, who am I to to argue or to say otherwise? Please go ahead. She connects me to two ladies who are sisters in the UK. I get on the phone. She puts us in a WhatsApp group and says, "Guys, like I told you, I've been led by the Spirit to put you together. And yeah, so introductions. Now that I will leave you." She literally got off the WhatsApp group like 5 minutes later. She did the job that Spirit led her to do and got off. That was it. Today, my relationship with those two ladies in the UK is so deeply rooted in spirituality, in angels, in so much beauty, so much love, so much. Anyway, 3 years I'm in this beautiful relationship, 3 years. And then my brother dies. So, because I have a direct connection to the Father, to the source, I start to ask him, what's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of this? How could you do this to me? Me? I remembered that I had had a premonition as well about my brother's death. a premonition that we spoke about with my sister. And I started feeling like maybe because I'm no longer in what is called mainstream religion, that this has happened. Maybe I could have prevented his death. As people say, you can pray and cancel the spirit of death and so on and so forth. Maybe I knew he was going to die, or I felt like he was going to die, so that I could do something. Remember, he was not sick. He was not sick. But every time he called me, I just felt like something was not right. Like he was also a bit confused about what he was feeling and going through. I almost started to beat myself up. By the time he died, I had also gone into a place where I was no longer feeling that connection with the angels and, the source like I was. I was meditating, but I think at that time I traveled to the village a month before, and it disrupted my routine my beautiful routine, meditation routine, early in the morning at 5 a.m. And because I didn't wake up then, I just came back and I was just trying to find my footing again. And that's about the time that he died. So I felt like maybe that was the reason why. But the next day, he died on a Saturday. Sunday, I just had a moment to just sit back and say, what is going on? It doesn't make sense. I know I cannot possibly make sense of what has gone on, but I need to understand what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, why am I asking these questions, what was my expectation, and why do I have those expectations of God? And just sat down, or actually I was in the kitchen doing the dishes, looking out the window and just thinking, just running through events. I said, it doesn't help me to cry and grieve and whatever. We had a day, because the vigil was going to be on Monday. There was still some restrictions, some COVID restrictions, so we didn't move. Vigils had to have a small number of people. I think it was only 30. So anyway, we had to make arrangements. And I thanked God so much for that day, that extra day, to just take a moment, and take stock of what I was feeling, of what had happened, of what it meant to me as a human being, what it meant to me as a spirit being, and just sit back and take it all in. I thank God so much for that day, because it started to make sense. The whole, we do not know and we do not control. And, why did I not see him? I knew exactly why I didn't see him. And I said, I cannot beat myself up about it, because it made sense to me at that time. And there is a reason why it made sense. He went, he died. I am here. I have no control over when I did not have a discussion with my parents or with God to say he should be born. There was a perfect reason why God allowed him to be born, why he was created. And there's a perfect reason why God has allowed him to live when he has left. So what am I in that bigger picture? How do I relate with what has just happened, considering what happened with Timothy and the entire chain of events that happened afterwards? And that's why this is long, because the events afterwards are the ones that are critical in my whole understanding of life and death and who we are, why we are, why we live and why we leave when it's time to go. And those of us who stay behind, what does it mean for us? And I'll do a series on that, which I hope and I pray can help someone else as much as they have helped me and helped some of the people that I've spoken to that we're ready and we've gone a bit deeper into this, to just turn it around and to realize that we are missing a huge part of living when we do not accept death. So after this one day, the next day, I leave the house to go to the vigil, and excuse me, and as I prepared, as I was driving there, I got sad again. I got sad because I was saying, why me? Why me? Why do I lose two brothers? What does it mean? Are we a cursed family? Is this how everyone is going to think we are cursed? And everyone is going to be pitiful around me? Why me? People, I'm just saying all these things. And I remember, as I was feeling that way, I got a message. One of the days that I was feeling that way, I got a message. Actually, it was a message from Dr. Sabrina Chitaka, who, I was so touched, so touched that she reached out to me out of the blue to say, I've lost siblings. I know what it feels like. And, I'm with you. And, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. So beautiful for her to call me and just say, hey, I know you must be overwhelmed by what you're going through, but I've been there. It's so painful, but also you heal. With time you heal. With my brother, so when I was going to the vigil, Mark's vigil, I started seeing the number 3. 33, 333. 33, 333. For me, this angel number is a number that speaks to Trinity, it speaks to creativity, it speaks to connection, and it always was that number that told me that the angels are here. Like, we are here, we see you. Lean on us. Lean on us when it's too much. Lean on us. Do not go alone. Do not carry this burden alone. We are here. Like, they're begging me, please, lean on us. How the number becomes a thing is, I look at the time on my phone, and it's let's say 11:33, and my battery is at 33%. Okay, and the temperature maybe from the day before, whatever, is 33. So I've got like a bunch of 33s. When I go to WhatsApp, I've got the 33 and the time, 33 and the battery percentage at the top of my phone. And then I have 33 messages unread from one chat. And then the other chat has a message that has come from a person whose numbers are 3333. So I'm seeing, then I'm like, okay. As I'm driving, 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars that are following each other have 333333 on their license plates. I'm like, I'm now on, going to my brother's house where the vigil is. I start to feel like, are you guys saying something to me? Boda 33. Okay. I drive past an Airtel billboard, 33 shillings per second or something like that, 33 seconds or something. I'm like, are you guys saying something to me? Because I thought I'd lost, my connection with you. Are you saying something to me? And again, 33. And as I'm seeing these numbers, as I'm saying, okay, you're asking me to lean on you. You're asking me to trust you. You're telling me that you've got this, that you know what I'm going through. You know what has happened, and it's okay. I then start to, to let go. By the time I get to the vigil, I'm all, happy. I'm so full of life. I'm waiting for my friends to come, and I'm just happy. Then something happens. We're trying to decide what photo to use in the order of service and, for the casket. And my brother had dreadlocks, like beautiful dreadlocks, beautiful. He was he was an embodiment of love. He just loved. Like he was here on earth to love, give love. Everywhere he was just like, I love you, Jerry. Jerry, tell me you love me. You call me and say, hey, what's up? I haven't heard from you in a long time. Tell me you love me. I'll be like, yeah, right, I love you. He says, say it properly. I say, I love you. And he say, yeah, I love you too. I love you so much. Tell the girls I love them. Hey, and tell my man. So I now, got into that space. But when we were trying to decide, the rest of the family wanted to bring a photo of him without dreadlocks, looking very prim and proper. I said, that's not him. That's not him. That's not his essence. Let's use the dreadlocks that really, speak to who exactly he is. And in that back and forth, I got upset. I was like, what do you mean? This is not him. I cried. I was like, my brother is dead. So, what are you trying to say? That, his life meant nothing? And And now I know that I was crying because I was in my ego. I was in my human moment saying, you are hurting me. What you're saying is, it's affecting me in that way. And in a short while, I sort of, came out of it and went back to being absolutely happy. It was a beautiful service, a beautiful mass. We got a priest and went back home. Again, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I remain in that beautiful floaty space knowing that, he's alive, he had to go. And I felt so deeply that, he actually, I felt like he had made an agreement, some sort of pact with God or, something. And I spoke about it in church during the service. I remember saying that I believe very strongly that Mark made a pact with God when he died. But I didn't know. Later on, I kind of confirmed. Anyway, we go to the village for burial, and I'm still waiting because of what happened with Timothy and the message. And a lot of other people that I spoke to, when somebody dies, they communicate, but we are so soaked and engrossed in our grief that we don't register it. We see it and we don't see it. Many people will say, oh, I had a dream about her last night. She said X, Y, Z. Or, very many people will say that they dream about the dead the first night or the first week that the person has died, and the person who's deceased actually tells them something, but they disregard it and they'll just talk about it and say, oh, but then we are so lost in our human understanding where we are supposed to cry. Just cry. That's the only way we show love for a person who has died, is we cry. When we don't cry, I used to feel like, Timothy, I hope you're not upset that I'm not crying. And I'll say that to him. I say, I hope you're not upset that I'm not crying. It's just that I don't feel sad. And when things like OTT were introduced, the tax for data, I was like, oh my God, you've escaped this one. So that's how, I've communicated with him for a long time. So anyway, Mark, I needed a message. I was looking out for that message from Mark, looking out. And then one of my brothers said, after we buried, he said, something strange happened. He was telling a group of us, something strange happened. When we buried, when I was trying to find Mark's ID to process, the letters and what the hospital needed and what the police needed, he said, I went to his house and I searched everywhere. I could not find his ID. I completely could not find his ID. I looked everywhere. So I don't know. At some point, I sat, like he just dropped in Mark's couch. And he said, I just sat there and I said, Mark, where's your ID? Where's your ID? Then he said, then I just stood up went to his carpet, lifted a corner of his carpet, and his ID was there. He said, I'm really confused. How did I know? How did I know? Oh my God, I jumped up. I hugged him. I was like, thank you, David. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I was like, Mark is the one who told you. He looked at me like, what do you mean? I said, Mark told you. Mark told you. That's why you're confused, because there's no way in the world you would have known to look under a carpet. How? Why would an ID be under a carpet? I said, Mark told you. I hugged him. I was so happy. So anyway, I go on. I'm rambling on about what I know about the dead communicating. In between my story, what I'm telling them, I keep saying, Mark, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, thank you. And one gentleman after that pulled me aside and he wanted to speak some more, because what I was saying resonated with something he had gone through. So after that, there was nothing that would faze me. I knew that my brother had gone, and I prayed that he was fine. I offered service. Of course, churches were closed, so I'd call. Sometimes I'll call priests and say, do you have mass? If you have, I'd like you to offer mass for my brother. But I also knew that God understood that there's no mass, so we would just have to pray for him. Exactly a week later, this is the following week on Sunday, I'm doing the laundry, the dishes again in the kitchen, and I decide that I want to listen to something that would uplift me. I don't know why. During the 3 years after Timothy had passed, I started listening to so many people. There is a guy on YouTube called Brian Scott. He's got, his YouTube channel is called Reality Revolution. He talks about a lot of channeling and things. I love listening to some of the people that he reads people's books and people's work. So I love listening to him. So when I went to listen, I used to listen to a lady called Dolores Cannon. So I went on YouTube to look for Dolores, and I found something, Dolores' Life After Death. If you have lost somebody, I really ask you to go and listen to Dolores and how she speaks about life after death. When I listened, the first 5 minutes of Dolores Cannon's video, I was jumping up and down. I was literally physically running through the house looking for people. Found one of my daughters, hugged her so tight. Found the second one, hugged her so tight. Found my husband, hugged him so tight. And I said, you guys, I'm so happy. I knew it. And they said, what did you know? I said, I'm listening to Dolores. And the first few minutes when she explains what happens when we die is exactly what I thought happened to Mark. Exactly what I thought happened to Mark. So Dolores explains it so beautifully, and it was what I had in my head. Later on in that video, she talks about the agreements that we make before we come to earth, and the lessons we're supposed to learn. And when we learn those lessons, that's why we came to learn. When you go to university, you're going to learn something. At the end, you're tested. When you pass, you leave. When you don't pass, sometimes you're given a chance to do it again. But also, how do you pass? You do the exam and the results come back. If that is all you came to study, if you came to do a bachelor's degree, you will do your bachelor's and then you will leave. And it's up to you to decide that I want to come back and do a master's. Then you'll come back for your master's. If you do the bachelor's and you do not pass, you have to go back and your results will come and say, this is how I did, that the result is the death. Rather, the test is you on earth. Then, did you pass or not? You die. You're told, yes, you did do so well. You have to go and do a retake. Then you come back. I learned about reincarnation. We do reincarnate. And for those of you who think, no, I don't think we reincarnate, that is a phenomena that I don't understand and whatever, go and find a docu-series called Surviving Death. The first episode is all you need to watch to confirm to you that we do reincarnate, because the story that is in the first episode, even I Googled and I found that yes, the person had lived. Only that some people, we never remember our past lives. Obviously, it would be so damn confusing. And if you watch that series, you'll see for the people who remember their past life, they're not happy. in their current life, because they're like, but in the other life, and it's normally, as a young child, some children actually remember and say, my daughter says she's from Mars. Like sometimes she likes to say, she always says she's from Mars. And sometimes I'm like, is she really from Mars, or is she just pulling my leg? Like, am I one of those parents who's like, oh yeah, just, keep quiet, or like, is there truth in it? Anyway, really, 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 really beautiful listening to Dolores Cannon. I'll drop the link in the comment section of this video. I will also drop the link in the comment section for I'll just write the series anyway. Life, Surviving Death. Those are the two that I really, really would like people to listen to and watch and just immerse yourselves in. So after I got that message about Mark, I knew then that we are okay. I knew that we are okay. Timothy was 13 days. 13 days of pain that was unbearable. And then it faded away and went away, and I never felt it again. I felt the artificial pain later because, hey, I'm missing him, I love him. When I love him, I cry. I'm sad. When I think about him, I'm sad. No, not anymore. Not anymore. In fact, when I think about Timothy, I just want to hug people. I just say, oh, my brother, I love him. Like, I don't want him to come back. No, I have never wished him back. I've never said, oh, I wish he was here. No, not with the mess that's happening in the world. He's better off where he is. The other thing we should watch is Soul. It's a cartoon, Soul. Beautiful. There is another one. There's another cartoon that has photos. Anyway, I don't remember it. After this, Timothy was 13 days. Mark was 24 hours. 24 hours. I have cried for Mark again like twice or three times because I thought about those times when he was calling me, that confusion that he seemed to be feeling. Did he know he was dying? What was he lonely? Was he, did he feel like no one is with him? No one is hearing him? But then I also remember that he was not saying, I want you to come and see me. He was saying, cook food. I want us to come to your house and get together. But for reasons beyond our control, we were not able to. I also cried for Timothy a lot, especially when it came to midnight. If I was out partying and it was midnight, I'll be like, at about this time, he was lying on the tarmac by himself. Was he in pain? Was he thinking about us? Was he scared that he was dying? For a person who knew thousands of people and he filled up a church and social media literally came to a standstill on that day, he died alone. Did he feel alone? Oh my God, that would make me cry so much. But later on, I was like, hey, I don't know what that process is like. And recently I've been watching not life after death, but people with near-death experiences who talk about that, the death. Of course, in the physical, in the human body, we feel pain. And sometimes you get an accident, you're in pain. When people die, then the pain goes, they immediately look down at their body and they're like, oh, that looks bad. And anyway, they're happy that they're where they are. I just wanted to, first of all, share those two stories and say, we can. I'm not special in any way. We can actually come out of that pain. We can come out of that place where, death is beyond pain that we can deal with. The angels are always here to support us. Remember that we all have a guardian angel, and we all know that we have a guardian angel. We talk about them, but we talk about them in, we're so nonchalant when we talk about them. It's always in passing. Yes, my guardian. Oh, my guardian angel. Oh, you have a guardian angel who's protecting you. Oh, your guardian angel did this for you. But do we really understand that the guardian angels are actually there and we need to tap into them? They do not do things without our permission. They're around, they're helping us, but sometimes they need us to ask them. ask the angels, ask your angels to help you through difficult times. Ask them to give you signs. Ask them to talk to you, help you understand what's happening. Speak to them, especially when we are going through times of deep, deep, deep emotion, deep sorrow. They are there. They are so close. God is so close to us, just waiting for us to open and hear him and feel him, because he is there in so much power. And many times you feel him, then you go back into your human understanding. Then you feel him, then you go back. So it's like extreme emotions at that time. But if we just took time off and just listened, we can feel him, we can feel our loved ones. And even later when we call on them and say, hey, I'm struggling with this, I know you can speak to guys on that side, can you help me? And really have a conversation. They hear us. I will be doing some more videos on the why we go through what we go through, and how I believe we should, or what I did, and how I think people should address and, see death, what we should do when it has happened to us, what we should do differently, because clearly what we are doing doesn't work, in the sense that it keeps us in a place of sorrow for so many years. People often tell me, I know yes, I see you lost a brother. I'm so sorry. You've lost 2 brothers. I know, Jerry, it's happened to me. The pain never goes. I know. Yeah, Jerry, the pain never. If you talk about it 5 years later, it's been 5 years since my brother died. Yeah, the pain never really goes. I don't know how to tell them that my pain went a long time ago. And sometimes I do, but I feel like if I say that, then I'm almost being insensitive to their pain, because their pain is because they don't know any better. So I'm always like caught in a place where in my heart I'm like, sweetheart, I have no pain. My pain went. My pain went. There's so much to talk about here, but I need to stop here now because this is long. But thank you so much. If you have survived this video up to this point, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Thank you very much for your time and for indulging me. I hope you are here because it has meant something to you. I hope it has blessed you in a certain way, and that you can share this. Again, if you feel anything for this video, click the like button, send me a comment, tell me how you feel, tell me what it has done for you. Tell me your experience. There must be people out there who have experienced the same thing as I have. So tell me your experience. Let's share. Let's learn from one another. Thank you so much. Be blessed, and see you in the next video.